So this is the second week of our beginner series. The first week we focused on hamstrings, and today we're going to focus on the upper body. So that being the shoulders and mostly the chest, which is a really important area. So I'll talk a little bit before we start about the shoulders and chest. And tight if you spend a lot of time sitting, or if you have bad posture. So if you kind of have round the back, round the shoulders a lot, and you can kind of have that area can be tight. Like we all do, overusing our cell phone. So when we have our cell phone, we tend to kind of just have this hunched over, kind of hunch, because we're looking down, texting, using the phone, and that can make the upper body tight. Just one tip also before we start, really try to incorporate in your daily practice, instead of looking down at your phone, because that kind of really rounds the neck and rounds the shoulder, try to keep your phone up at eye level so you can have better posture. It might seem weird, but over the long run, it's going to be a huge, huge help for your neck and your shoulders and your posture. And just overuse of, the computer, stress. When we're stressed out without even realizing it, we tend to kind of hunch our shoulders as a reaction to stress. So that's just another reason that area can be tight, sore, knots. Carrying a purse, like carrying heavy bags, book bags, things like that. And they can be tight if maybe you have an old injury, or even something like arthritis. So some of the benefits for stretching our shoulders and working on our shoulder strength is that it can reduce the tension, reduce the pain, and really increase our mobility. It can also help to relieve upper back pain if you have upper back pain. It can just improve the flexibility, your range of motion. Overall, just help you maintain good posture. Just hold on a second. So go ahead and start in a comfortable seat and roll your head and neck around a few times, and just kind of check in with yourself, check in with your shoulders. And then you can go ahead and close your eyes and come to sitting up nice and straight, maybe just rolling your head and neck around one more time. And start to lengthen your breath. Taking long, deep inhales through your nose, long, deep exhales out through your nose. Using this time to help you kind of just become present, going from the outer world to the inner world. In a moment to check in with yourself, set an intention for class. Using your breath as a tool before we start to help relax your body, to help calm your mind. Let's take one or two more deep breaths here. And then from here, you can slowly open up your eyes, and we're going to come to kneeling. So just come to sitting on your knees, as long as that feels okay for you. And we're just going to specifically stretch our neck out. So it doesn't matter which side you start with, but bring one hand over to the other side of the head, and you're going to tilt that ear over towards your shoulder. So stretching out the neck, since our focus is the upper body today. Just take that other hand over to the side as owner stretch, just holding it there. So you're not putting a lot of pressure on your head, just a gentle pressure to get a little bit deeper. Staying with that deep breath. And from here, you can bring your chin down to your chest, other ear towards the other shoulder. And then take that hand to the other side, other hand reaches out. Just noticing if one side feels a little bit tighter today than the other side. One more deep breath here. Good, and then from here, interlacing your hands behind your back. So drawing those shoulders down and back, and this is a great counter stretch to just practice a few times throughout the day to kind of counter that forward hunching that we do to bring those shoulders down and back. Here, you're gonna kind of reach those arms up a little bit, come forward and bring the top of your head down, lift your hips up, getting a little bit more into the arms and shoulders, staying here for a few more breaths. Good, and then you can come back down to a seat, still on our knees as long as that feels okay. And we're gonna do kind of a kneeling cat-cow pose. So on an inhale, you're gonna open up your chest, squeeze your shoulders together in the back, bring the chest forward, look up, and then on an exhale, round your back, round your shoulders. A few more times, inhale to open everything up. Tailbone out of the back. Exhale to round. Here, last one. Good, exhale to round. And then we're just gonna come to sitting up straight. And we're gonna come to an eagle arms variation. So just start back straight, bringing the forearms together, the elbows together. This is quite hard. So this is one level of eagle arms. You want to keep your elbows in line with your shoulders. Other option is to give yourself a hug. Let's start with the right arm under the left arm, and you're crossing at the elbows, bringing the hands together. So this is a great shoulder stretch too. So it's bringing those shoulders together in the front. From here, first variation was we're going to lift the elbows up a little bit. So the elbows are in line with the shoulders. Maybe staying here for a breath. And then we can go a little bit deeper, coming a little bit into a back bend by just lifting those elbows up, maybe looking up. They're all optional. So as long as it feels okay for you in your back, variations. And then from here, coming back to the center and then rounding your back, bringing your elbows in towards you. And then from here, we're going to lift back up again and just switch sides. So this time, remember which arm was underneath, open up, and then opposite arm is going to go under this time. So give yourself a hug, shoulders squeezed together in the front, crossing them, but the elbows coming to eagle arms on the other side. If that's kind of hard for you to do, you can always just stay right here. So from here, elbow in line with the shoulders, either just staying here or maybe lifting up, looking up, kind of like a little bit of a back bend. And we'll come through to the center and then bring the elbows in towards you, rounding the shoulders, rounding your back. Good. And then from here, coming back up through to the center, inhale, just open everything up and release. So we'll make our way from here into a downward facing dog. Before we start with the downward facing dog, just a few tips. One thing is to spread out the fingers so that helps protect your wrist. Another thing has to do with the arms and shoulders. So in a downward facing dog, your arms are kind of more energetically externally rotated. Your hands and you kind of turn them out to the side. That's the feeling you want in downward facing dog. So spreading out the fingertips, tuck the toes, lift your hips up and back, and just energetically, externally rotate those hands and the shoulders. That's kind of the feeling you want for your shoulders in the down dog. From here, maybe just pedal out the feet. We'll be doing a full body workout, and I'll just be kind of mainly focusing on the upper body and highlighting things in the upper body for this particular class. So in your downward dog also, you want to kind of make sure your hands are in line, I guess, that one hand's not in front of the other hand. Elbows are straight, shoulders energetically kind of forwardly rotated. You can have a bend in the knees, especially if you have tight hamstrings, setting the hips up and back. All right, from here, we're just gonna walk our feet to our hands for a ragdoll forward fold. So ragdoll forward fold, bend in the knees, relaxing the shoulders, maybe shaking your head, yes and no, just to make sure it's really relaxed. If you want, you can grab the elbows a little bit side to side. So just waking up. So this really helps to wake up our hamstrings, wake up the back of your legs. A little bit deeper. So feel yourself lifted up through the hips. Body weight forward a little bit so you're not sitting back in your heels. From here, we're going to come to a half lift. So straighten your legs, take your hands to your shins, draw the shoulder blade back. Your energy is reaching forward. So this is an active pose. Arms away from your ears. And exhale, fold forward. We'll do that again. Inhale, half lift. Shoulders away from your ears. And pretty much in every single pose, shoulders are always down the back, always away from your ears. Exhale. Fold forward deeper. So maybe just a micro bend in the knees. Inhale, we're going to come all the way up. Lengthen through your spine. Good. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to go through 2 sun salutations just to really get our whole body warmed up. So inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Fold forward. Half lift, drawing the shoulders back and away, flat back. Exhale to bend your knees, and then step back to the top of the plank. We're going to lower down from here all the way to our stomachs. So option to drop the knees, but that's just an option. Elbows are going to hug your ribs as you come all the way down. From here, we're going to do 3 rounds of cobra pose. So inhale, you're going to draw the chest, neck, and shoulders up. So using your upper body strength. Exhale, come down. So hands should be kind of in that sports bra area and kind of hover the hands to make sure you're not using your arms. You want to use that upper body strength. So let's lift up again. Shoulders down the back, away from your ears. Exhale, come back down, and we'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift up. You don't need to come up super high. Exhale, come back down. From here, we'll come to a tabletop and then make our way back to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, you might want to step the feet in just a little bit if you have tight hamstrings. Bat out the fingers, externally rotate the shoulders, maybe pedal out the feet, just kind of stretching it out a few times, waking up the whole body. 2 deep breaths. From here, we'll bend our knees a little bit more, look up to our hands, bring your feet up to your hands, coming into a half lift, drawing the shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward. And next, inhale to come all the way up, lengthen front, lengthen through your spine. All right, we're gonna do one more. I'll reach up. With your breath, exhale to fold forward. Inhale to come to the half lift. Exhale to bend your knees, plant your hands, stepping back to a plank, either lowering down in that plank position, or if your form is gonna kind of not be good, you wanna drop to the knees, you can keep those elbows to your ribs straight back. We're coming all the way to our stomach. We're going to do locust pose variation. So bring your hands behind you, palms facing. We're going to do 2 different variations. Inhale. This time lift up the feet and the head, neck, and chest. Stay here for 3 breaths. Exhale, come back down. This time, you can bring your forehead down, but interlace your hands behind your back. Next, inhale. Even head, neck, and chest. Getting a little bit more into the shoulders. Deep breath. How to make your way down, and then we'll come back into a downward facing dog. So you can either go straight to a plank, then down dog, or come to your hands and knees, come into a downward facing dog. A few breaths. This is just such a great stretch for the whole body. So just staying here for a few more breaths. Relax your head and neck, your chin towards your chest, looking maybe at your knees or even up towards your belly button. And then from here, bend your knees a little more, look up to your hands, walk, step, or even a light hop to bring the feet to the hands, coming into a half lift and then inhale. Inhale, fold forward, and then we're gonna come into a chair pose from here. So feet are close together, bend the knees, sit back. Bring your hands to your heart center to start with. Draw the shoulders back, tuck your tailbone a little bit so you don't want to lift the hips out too much. So right now, we're not really getting into our shoulders very much. We can kind of go a little bit deeper by reaching those arms forward, drawing the shoulder blades down and back away from your ears. And then even more into the shoulders, reach those arms up. Your goal is to kind of bring those arms kind of hugging the ears, but trying not to shrug the shoulders, still keeping the shoulders down and back as you're reaching the arms up and back. Breath. And then exhale, we're gonna come to standing. All right, let's pause here for a moment. If you need to, get a drink of water. And we're gonna do some work with our straps, or if you don't have a strap, your towel, dog leash, anything like it. I'm just gonna kind of adjust the camera because I'm gonna be standing for a little bit so that you can see up over my head. So what you wanna do is we're gonna kind of roll either side of the strap so that we don't have like a long string at one end. And we're gonna take the strap about shoulder distance apart. Just kind of rolled it together so that I don't have like a long piece just hanging down here. Even your towel, you want it to be about shoulder distance apart. And we're just gonna warm up the shoulders since our focus today is the upper body. Whenever you're ready, take your time. We're gonna reach it up overhead and just start doing shoulder circles. So it doesn't matter which direction you start with, about medium, not really big, not really small, medium shoulder circles. We'll do 10 more from here in the same direction. 4, 5, 4, 2. We're gonna switch directions. So just the little shoulder circles, warming up the shoulders in the other direction. Keep breathing. We'll do 10 from here. 5 more. 3, 2, 1. All right, so you're gonna take that strap out a little bit wider. And you're gonna, as wide as you need, because we're gonna bring it up and over behind our back. You wanna untwist it so you can get it back there. And then with our hands behind our back, we're just gonna do little pulses. So we'll just do 4, 1, and then we're gonna bring it up and over to the front. So stretching out that chest, the shoulders there. And we're gonna do that 2 more times. And if you need to, wide. That's gonna be, and then back here, we're gonna do the pulses for 4, 3, 1, last time. Bringing it up and over, and then 4 or 5 little pulses. And we're gonna bring it up and over 1 more time. All right, from here, we're gonna take our strap, roll it again so that it's about shoulder distance apart. So medium width, so medium wide feet. Reach your arms up overhead, and we're gonna go in a circle 2 times in each direction. Doesn't matter which side you start with. So kind of coming over to the side, like a side crunch, all the way down, like a forward fold, down over to the other side, and back up. 1 more time on this side. Exhale halfway through. Exhale the other way through. All right, we're gonna switch sides. So just going the opposite direction, starting out kind of like that side crunch, coming through to the center, rotation of your trunk. Keep breathing one more time in this direction. So the strap is just kind of helping us really engage our arms and shoulders through this rotation. All right, so one more standing kind of arm stretch here. So you're gonna take one end of your towel or your strap, and you're just gonna kind of bring it behind you. You probably know this one, we usually do it seated. And then the other hand's gonna come behind your back. So you're gonna kind of inch your fingertips towards each other using that strap to get extra length. If your fingertips can hook, you probably don't even need the strap. You can just kind of put it to the side. But what you wanna do is you wanna have that elbow straight up, the other shoulder down and back, and you don't wanna be hunched over. So that's why you want the strap, to kind of help you find length here. All right, so this is stretching our triceps, back of our arms, stretching our chest and shoulder. Come back to our breath here. And then feet still, like maybe just a little bit medium width apart. We're gonna come to a forward fold, but keeping our arms the same, just how they are. So hinging from your hips, coming to that forward fold with that arm, shoulder stretch. One more breath. When you're ready, you can bend the knees, make your way up. We're gonna release that side, maybe just kind of shake it out. And same thing on the other side. So taking one end of your strap, elbow up, and you may notice one side, maybe it feels a lot different than the other side. That can be kind of normal, especially from overuse of one particular side. So let's just stay here for a few breaths. You wanna keep your chest and shoulders in neutral, just looking forward. And from here, we'll just come to that forward fold again. Go ahead on the knees, make your way up, take your time. We'll release the strap, and you can set the strap aside. We'll come back to it in a little bit. So from here, we're gonna go through a little yoga sequence, kind of working more the full body, focusing the upper body. So I'm just gonna tilt the camera so you can see my full yoga mat. All right. Starting kind of towards the front of your mat, let's go ahead and inhale, reach up, lengthen through your spine. Exhale to fold forward. And we're gonna take a big step back with our left foot so that our right foot's in front. Left leg is back. And then you can bring your hands to that knees to come up and lengthen through your spine. We're gonna come to a low lunge. So we're gonna add some variations. So first, lunge, just kind of basic, your shoulders down and back, but your arms are hovering towards your ears. From here, we're gonna open up the shoulders more. So you're gonna come to cactus arms. Squeezing the shoulder blades together in the back, you're opening up the chest. Good. Deep breaths. You can look forward, or even if it feels good, some people kind of like to open up a little bit more and look back, just kind of whatever feels good for you. Might feel better to have that straight back. And then one more level, we're gonna interlace our hands behind our back, draw the shoulders down and back. Staying here for a few breaths, either just straight or a little back bend. And then you can release your hands. You're gonna bring both hands forward, kind of deframe that. But lift the back knee up, just pause here. So we're gonna make sure our front knee's over our ankle, back leg is straight, feet are a little bit staggered for balance. So feet aren't in line, right leg's a little bit to the right, left foot to the left. We're gonna do a high lunge this time. So when you're ready, make your way up, straightening through that back knee. We're gonna do the same set of things with our arms. So shoulders down and back. Here, open up, cactus arms. And this is also working on our leg strength, our balance at the same time. And then maybe as one more option, drawing the shoulders down and back. Breath. Very good. From here, we're going to reach the arms up. We're going to open up to warrior two. So take that back heel, spin it down. Front knee, front leg stays the same. I'm just going to turn so I can see you guys. Right. So I'm talking towards you. Relax the shoulders down and back, arms out. Make sure, you know what, sometimes one arm tends to be up, one's down. So just kind of check. Maybe straighten that leg, check that the knee's over top of the ankle. You're not reaching forward. Sometimes we tend to want to reach forward, but our torso should just be in the middle. Reverse warrior, flip the front palm up, back hand down. Nice oblique stretch. Good. Here, we're going to straighten that front leg. We're going to come into a triangle variation. So for me, you can take your hands to your hips. I like to step that back foot in a little bit because I'm a little bit shorter or tight, a little bit tighter maybe, so it's more accessible. And then reach, reach, reach forward to come into that triangle shaped straight line between your arms, fingertips, knee, or maybe they touch onto the mat, but you don't want to dump a lot of weight in the bottom fingers. You want to feel it lift up. That top arm, we're going to bend at the elbow, bringing that top hand behind our back. So that's kind of just helping us open our shoulders a little bit up here. And then you can kind of look over that shoulder. Few more deep breaths as they're doing good. And then from here, we'll make our way back up. Good, and then we're just gonna step back to the front, reset, do the other side. So same thing, big step back with the opposite. Well, let's inhale, reach up, lengthen, find lengthen your spine, exhale, fold forward. Big step back with your right foot, so your left foot is in front this time. Bring that bottom knee down. And we're coming to the low lunge whenever you're ready. So finding your balance, placing the hands on the knee, making sure the knee's over your ankle. Up. And then you can reach the arms up, draw the shoulders down and back. Lunge. Here, adding variations. So cactus arms to open up the chest a little bit more. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze together in the back. This is also a good counter stretch. So that forward hunching we do a lot over our cell phones, the computers. And then last variation, interlace the hands behind the back. Draw the shoulders down and back again. And then you can release your hands or bring your hands to either side of the foot. Lift the back knee up. Setting it, well, let's just pause here. Front knee's over the ankle. Back leg is straight. You're ready. Make sure the feet are a little bit staggered. Your way up to that high lunge. Shoulders back. Your balance. Good. Adding on the cactus arms variation. Opening up the chest. Good. Straight back. Or even a little bit of a back bend. When you're ready, last variation. Interlacing the hands behind the back. You're still working the legs super hard. Still negotiating your balance the whole time. And then you can release the arms, reach up again, spin the back heel down, warrior two. All right, so take a moment if you want. You can kind of straighten that front leg, work towards getting a nice bend in that knee. Check your alignment, so check the shoulders are down and back, arms are straight. Check that you're not reaching forward. Deep breath. Energetically squeeze those inner thighs towards each other. You're still engaging the legs. Flip the front palm up, back hand down. Reverse warrior, keeping the nice bend in your knee. Then coming back into warrior two, we'll straighten that front leg. Maybe you step that back foot in just a little bit, like an inch or two. Then we're going to come to triangle pose. So reach forward, both legs are straight. Hand comes down, spinning. The top hip open, pressing your weight in towards the bottom hip. Light on the bottom fingers, bending at the elbow. And behind the lower back. More deep breath. And then when you're ready, you can reach that top arm up, make your way all the way up. All right, good. And then we'll step our feet together. All right, so we're gonna do, if you want, grab a quick drink of water, and we're gonna do one balancing pose. We're gonna do eagle pose. So we already did our eagle arms pose. We're gonna add the legs to make it a balanced pose. All right, so eagle pose starts in a chair. So you're gonna start just the lower body with the knees bent. And let's start with the right leg. So cross the right knee over the left knee, like you're kind of like you're sitting cross-legged, but you know, we're sitting in a chair cross-legged. So that's our lower body. Keep that foot down as a little kickstand to help you balance. From here, your right knee's on top. Give yourself a big hug with your right arm under your left arm. So right knee on top, right arm under, and make your way into the eagle arms or just the two forearms together. Right, from here, lift the elbows up so they're in line with the shoulder. Sit down a little bit lower, and you can keep that right toe there as a kickstand to help you balance. But if you want to try for the full pose, you're going to lift that toe up as level one, and then the full pose, you're going to wrap that foot around the calf. Balance on one leg, trying to stay there a few breaths, keeping the elbows lifted, sit back. And more deep breath, and then you can untwist your legs, come up, untwist your arms, just release. Right, same thing on the other side. Starting out in the chair pose, this time, cross, knee on top. Keep that foot down as a little kickstand to keep yourself balanced while you're setting up. Be able to stay there longer. Left knee's on top, left arm is under, give yourself a hug. Make your way into your eagle arms. You want to draw those elbows up in line with your shoulders. Sit down a tiny bit lower. You just stayed here today. Option two is to lift that left foot up so you're on one leg with that foot lifted. The full pose is to bring that foot behind your calf. Square the hips a little, sit down a little lower, elbows up. Eyes are just kind of focused at your forearms in front of you. You can't really look at anything here. More deep breaths. Head and lift up, untwist your legs, release your arms, shake it out. All right, great job. All right, so the rest of class, we're gonna come down to our mat. So go ahead and make your way down to a seat and find your strap again. Right. All right, we're gonna stretch it out a little bit more. Let's start with our right foot in front, left foot towards our inner thigh. Use that strap, towel, dog leash, you know, just to kind of help us into the pose properly. So draw your shoulders down and back, sit up nice and tall. You want your hips to be square to that leg that's out long. So the primary purpose of this pose here is going to be to stretch our leg, not our arms and shoulders. Using our strap to help us do that. So you're going to hinge just a little bit from here. Hinge a little bit from your hips. Draw your shoulders back, keep your chest lifted. What you want to avoid is like this rounding here like this, because we're not trying to stretch our shoulders right now. The shoulders back, straight, hinging from your hips. Even if you can't go very far, you want to focus on that straight back, kind of at a diagonal. You can go forward. Stretch, initiating the hips. Now in like yin yoga, we relax our shoulders, we relax our head and everything, but that's because the stretch is a little, our purpose is a little different. We're holding the pose a little bit longer, and And it's just a different purpose. So really feel this stretch, the engagement in your legs. Another deep inhale, find length through your spine. See if you can go a little bit deeper here. I mean, maybe if you're more flexible, you may not even need the strap. The strap just kind of helps us really engage the right body part. Great, so from here, go ahead and make your way back up. Just put your strap to the side, so your right leg's forward. Take your left hand, you're gonna bring it behind your back. The hand's kind of in line with your hip. It's kind of a little bit forward, and then we're gonna lift our hip up. So lift that hip up, and then we're gonna come to a little bit of a back bend. So opening up the chest, opening up the shoulder, reach that heart arm up, maybe back a little bit, opening up the chest, the heart, moving the hips forward. Deep breath. And then you can come back down through to the center and we'll switch sides. So just same thing on the other side. Starting with the strap. So opposite foot in towards your inner thigh. Flex that foot that's out long. Place the strap around that foot. And just starting out sitting up straight. And for some people, this might be enough. All right, you might already feel it. If you can, with a straight back, drawing the shoulders back, hinge forward, initiating the stretch from the hip. Now, so on your inhale, think lengthen through your spine, long spine, and then on your exhale, see if you can go further forward a little bit, using your breath to help you get more into the pose. Seeing if you can go just a little bit further. Seeing how this side feels compared to the other side. One more breath. And then we'll make our way up. You can set the straps aside. I don't think we need them anymore, so you can put them away. Right. From here, whatever leg's out, take that opposite arm behind you. We're going to reach the other arm up, lift that hip up to start with, and then lift it up, bring it forward a little bit more, reach the arm up, maybe even start to reach it back, a little bit of a back bend, opening up the chest, opening up the heart, a few breaths here. Good, and then we'll make our way back down. Right, we're gonna come onto our hands and knees and start out with just a few rounds of cat-cow pose, just kind of spine out a little bit. So again, spreading out the fingers to protect the wrist, hands under shoulders, knees under your hips. Inhale to drop your belly, lift your tailbone up. Exhale into cat pose, rounding everything. So just do like 2 or 3 more rounds of these cat cows, maybe spending a little extra time if it feels good in either pose. All right, so cat cow, we're on animals today. So from here, next we're going to come to a puppy pose. So come into a regular tabletop position, making sure that your hips stay up high over your knees. You can start out coming down onto the forearms. And then from here, you're going to stretch your arms forward, bringing your forehead down. As long as it feels okay, you keep the hips up high. So hips high over your knees. If that doesn't feel comfortable, if it feels too much, you would come back more, so more like a child's pose. And how you can adjust the stretch. Pause here, relaxing the forehead and noticing where you feel the stretch. This pose is really targeting our upper body, our arms, our upper back, and our shoulders. If you can go deeper in this pose, you can try to bring your chin all the way down. So it not be comfortable for you, for your head and neck, but this is just an option to go a little bit deeper. You may want to stay there for a few breaths just to try it. Working towards bringing your chest down a little bit further. And then from here, slowly walk your way back, maybe coming on the forearms, coming back onto your hands and knees. We'll take a counter stretch. So let's sit back for a child pose variation. So sitting back towards our heels, knees together. We're going to take the palms up to release the shoulders this time, bringing your forehead down. And then come back to a tabletop, so back onto your hands and knees. All right, so it doesn't matter which side you start with, but we're going to ground through one hand, reach the other arm up. So kind of like a little bit of a twist, reach that arm up towards the side, and then you're going to bring that hand underneath the other armpit. We're coming to thread the needle pose. Now arms underneath. If it feels okay, you're going to bring the side of your head down. If that feels like too much, you're going to bring your forehead down and stay there. And from here, you're going to keep your hips up high. You can slide that top arm forward, one option, but to get a little bit more into your shoulders, to draw that shoulder back, maybe take that hand and bring it behind your lower back, just nice and easy. In here for a few breaths. And then that top arm, you're going to press it back into the mat. Reach that other arm up one more time, coming into the twist, reach, and then come back down. And we're just going to switch sides. So whatever side you did last time, we're going to do the other side. So this time, reach the other arm up, twist up towards the ceiling, and then you're going to bring it underneath the other armpit. Shoulder holds, shoulder comes down side of the head. Unless it's uncomfortable, then the top of the head will come down. Maybe sliding that other arm forward or bringing it behind the lower back. And then when you're ready, you can press that top arm down. We're going to finish with the twist, reaching that arm up. And then coming back onto your hands and knees. All right, so from here, we're going to come all the way to our stomachs to set up for a Sphinx pose to start with. Anytime you need to, grab a drink of water as well. Start out with the Sphinx pose on your forearms. So for this one, just elbows under your shoulders, shoulders down and back from your ears, for everything, just in your posture or daily life moves, always shoulders away from your ears. All right, from here, we're going to reach the arms forward. So arms extended, legs extended. We're going to bend one knee, reach that same hand back for the top of the foot or for the ankle. Inhale, you're going to lift up. It doesn't really matter how high you lift up, just working with wherever you're at, stretching the back and the quad. Few deep breaths. You can go ahead and release. Let's kind of pause here on your belly. Maybe bring your forehead to your forearms for a moment. You can drop your feet side to side a few times. Switch sides. So opposite knee is going to bend, reach your hand back, same hand to same leg. Reach on the arm forward, inhale, lift up. Here, a few breaths. Pressing the foot into the hand, stretching out the quad, stretching out the back. And then go ahead and release. You can bring your forehead to your hands, knees side to side. Right. So if you were at yin yoga class on Tuesday, we did this move is one of my favorite shoulder openers. It's called open wing. So you're going to start out by taking one arm out to the side. So I have my right, so you might want your right arm out to the side, and then you're going to roll onto that side. Bring your knees up, kind of like in a fetal position. All right, so you're opening up the chest, stretching out the shoulder. Top arm can come behind the lower back. Option for the legs is to keep the knees bent or straighten one leg, bend the top knee. Trick is that arm out to the side wants to kind of come back, but you want to keep it out long. Just stay here a few breaths. Really feeling that shoulder and chest opener. You can also do it up against a wall as an option. Just same thing, bring your arm up to the wall, open up the other side. One more deep breath here. And rolling back to the center. We'll just take a little counter stretch. So drawing that arm. This time you're going to bring the shoulder in towards you. Your forehead is going to come down on the other hand. Just staying here for a few breaths in that counter stretch. All right, and then we'll set up to do the other side. So take that opposite arm out long, straight out from you. It's not down by you. And then you can start out by bringing those knees up, kind of like a fetal position, side of the head down. Up arm can come up behind you. Either keeping the knees here, or you can straighten the bottom leg, bend the top knee. Allows you to rotate over just a little bit more. Good, and then one more breath. We're gonna come forward back onto our stomach. Take that arm that was out long, bring it underneath the other armpit, bring the front of the head on the head down for a few breaths. Great, very good. So from here you can release. We're gonna come onto our back. If you want, you can just roll onto your back, or you can, sit up, take one more drink of water before you come onto your back. But we're gonna finish on our back. And I know it's going to be hard to see the screen when you're on your back, so I'll try to describe it to you the best I can. First, just go ahead and hug your knees into your chest and just rock side to side. And your knees hugged into your chest. And then from here, you can bring your feet down onto the mat. Reach your arms up overhead so your arms are reached up towards the ceiling. And then grab your elbows. So your elbows are kind of like making a frame above your chest. Right, so you're going to keep the arms here. You're going to bring that frame over to the right as you look over to the left. Come back through to the center. Bring your elbows over to the left as you stretch your neck and look over to the other side. So we're going to do this for about 30 seconds to a minute. So inhaling to come back through to the center, exhale to stretch. What this is working on is kind of that shoulder neck jam that you might get sometimes. So bringing the arms and shoulders to one side as you kind of just stretch your neck, looking over to the other side, moving with your breath, just nice and easy. Let's do one more on each side. Good. From here, we're going to set up for a bridge pose. So your feet are about hips distance apart, heels up towards you, your palms into the mat beside you. Lift the hips up. From here, to get deeper, you can walk your arms under your shoulders, interlace your hands behind your back. This is your bridge pose. You want to focus on lifting your chin up away from your chest. Opening up through your heart. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. One more deep breath. And then you can release your arms, slowly lower down your upper back, middle back, and then to release your spine, take your feet out a little bit wider. Drop both knees towards one side. And drop both knees towards the other side. Windshield wiper in the knees a few times, side to side. Here we're gonna come into one more bridge pose. So option to do the exact same thing, holding it 5 or 6 breaths. Or if you're more flexible, naturally more flexible, or been working on back bends or wheel pose, you can try a full back bend. But same setup with your feet, heels in towards you, knees about hips distance apart. If you're going for the back bend, your hands will be under your shoulders. Maybe just the top of your head comes up first. Maybe you just stay there. If you want, you can lift up further. It's perfectly fine if you don't normally do that. Just stay in your bridge pose, keeping the hips lifted up nice and high, chin up away from your chest in both poses. Opening up the heart, staying there a few breaths. Good job. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and release, making your way all the way down. We'll windshield wiper the knees side to side a few times. All right, from here, we're gonna set up for fish pose. So you're gonna come onto your forearms behind your back, like you're just kind of chilling out at the beach. Feet are gonna be straight. Go ahead and point your toes. Hands are kind of be like underneath your hips a little bit. Your elbows aren't wide, they're kind of right under your shoulders. This is a little bit of a back bend. So what you want to do is you want to inhale, lift the hips up, and then start to look up, lifting your chest up. Allow your head to drop back, if that feels okay. Keeping the shoulders away from your ears. Or still stay down back. The hips up a little bit more, lift the chest up. See if you can go a little bit further. Opening up the throat as long as it feels okay. From here, slowly bring your head up. We're going to push up onto our hands. So we're pushing up to a seat. Right. We have one more pose. So this is our final pose. I said have a block or a towel. So that's what we're going to use this for. All right. So find your block or your towel for our final pose. And I'll show you how we're going to use it. We're going to use it to kind of open up the shoulders and the chest going into our Shavasana. This towel or block, I have my towel kind of rolled up. It's going to go right between my shoulder blades. I'm going to lie down, kind of find that area between my shoulder blades. So that's lifted, my chest is lifted up a little bit. I'm going to bring my feet together. So I'm kind of also stretching my legs, coming to a butterfly type stretch lying down. And then I'm going to let my head kind of relax back on the mat. Allow my palms to open up out to the side. With that chest lifted, it allows to kind of release the shoulders a little bit. So allow the shoulders to release down in a more kind of restorative, this is a restorative type of pose. So we'll stay here in this pose for a few breaths and then Just going from here naturally into our Shavasana. So from here, allowing the knees to relax to the side, giving that nice kind of gentle stretch inside the legs, allowing the shoulders to release. Back to a regular breath, maybe closing your eyes. I'm going to use this pose as a release. So just kind of letting go into the pose. Here, you can choose to either stay here in your Shavasana, and this can be your Shavasana pose, or maybe you choose to straighten the legs if that feels more comfortable or more relaxing, or maybe you remove the block, the blanket, the towel to allow your back to lie flat. So your choice for Shavasana. For our final resting pose, allow your body just to sink a little bit further. And it's time to just kind of scan your body, noticing if you have tension anywhere, particularly in any particular place in your body, and consciously allowing that area to just release, relax yourself to just let go. From here, go ahead and take a nice deep inhale. Complete exhale. And just doing that again, nice deep inhale. Complete exhale. From here, start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, rolling out your ankles, rolling out your wrists a few times. And then you can stretch your arms up overhead and or bend your knees. And when you're ready, roll onto one side. Pause there for a breath or two. And then you can make your way up to a seat. Good. So let's go ahead and finish by bringing our hands to our heart center. Take one more deep inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, bring your hands back down to your heart center. Take a moment and just to feel a sense of peacefulness, gratitude, and just allow the positive energy that you feel right now from your practice to be a benefit to yourself and the people around you throughout the evening and throughout the day tomorrow. Namaste.